Hello, my name's John, this is a Space Marine Lieutenant, and you're watching War Games, Models and Other Hobbies. Hello and welcome back to another video. This month, without realising it, is turning a little bit into Deathwatch month, so I've decided to do a character conversion from the Space Marine Lieutenant you get with the Leviathan box set. So this is the standard build straight out of the box, but what I want to do with this is replace the head, which is a nice and easy fix, as well as changing the right arm, and then the only little tricky bits may be removing the shoulder pad without damaging too much of the model, as well as the foot, but we'll have a look at that as we move on. So there is a scenic base section that comes with this model, but I've already started creating a scenic base. So here I've used a spare Gene Stealer body, which I've made look as if it's been killed in some manner, sanded the back down, and that's going to sit on the base somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where it's going to fit yet, because I've got to position the Lieutenant's foot in the right place. And as you can see, part of the foot is already found on the scenic base that comes with the model. So I'm either going to cut that off and stick it on, or I might resculpt that foot. I'm not sure yet. So the first thing that I want to do is prep the model, and I'm going to need to trim this shoulder pad off to replace it with a Deathwatch shoulder pad, which I've got. So first things first, let me clip this model off. And my aim for this video is to stay in focus, stay in shot for the whole video, but we'll see how I do. I often find that I do start to move out of shot slightly, but I'll do my best with this one. I won't reveal the exact character that this is going to be based on. At the end, if you have an idea, please drop it in the comments. I'd like to take this moment as well just to thank all of my new subscribers who are slowly but surely joining my hobby adventure, and thank you to all those people who are sticking around for it, and I hope you enjoy this video. So I did a video years ago now on removing shoulder pads and things like that from models for conversions. I'll either leave a link in the description, or I'm thinking of re-editing that one soon, so we'll see where that goes. But what I'm going to do is carefully with my snips trim off this shoulder pad. I've got to be careful because I don't want to damage the underside or the details surrounding it. So I'm just going to take my time to just trim this back very carefully. I can, if I go wrong, resculpt bits, but I want to try and avoid that. And all of this is going to get covered up by that Deathwatch shoulder pad anyway. But I just need to be careful while I do this. Well, I went a little bit too far there, but that's okay. It's going to get covered up, and I do have some green stuff on standby if needed. Okay, let's now do a little bit of carving carefully. Now it is tricky with these models that have a set pose sometimes to get nice clean kind of cuts for the conversion. Ooh, knocking things everywhere. But having a look at okay, so all I've got to do is clear off this little bit just here, and then this should be okay. So I am going to need to use a bit of glue in the surrounding area to make this work, but that doesn't matter. Ooh, wrong way around. Okay, so As you can see, it's not quite fit and snug. I've still got a little bit down there to fix, so let's just get the knife in there carefully. Okay. I'm just got to carefully tidy that up. Okay. So next thing I want to do is get all of the bits that I want to keep for this model, and I'm going to put these together. Now what I'm probably end up doing is sorting out mold lines and things like that after I've put the basics of this together. I won't do that through this whole video unless there's some really drastic ones. And as always with these real-time conversions, you may hear some road traffic in the background or my dog wandering around doing things. Apologies if it disturbs. So I'm going to leave the right arm, the head and that scenic base on the sprue. So I've just got these parts here. So just a very basic clean up. I'll come back to this later on. Not sure if I'm going to leave that knife on the foot at the moment. Oops. So looking at how this all goes together, I should really look at the instructions, but I haven't got them to hand, so I'm just trying to remember. Yep, so that's going to go on first. What I am going to do with this, which isn't something I normally do with all push fits, but with this one, because I'm cutting some bits away, I will do, is actually run a little bit of glue around sections just to hold the basics in place. There we go. So there's body there. Let's get the other leg on. I'll leave a link in the description as well to all of the other Deathwatch Marines that I've been working on this month. Done quite a few little Primaris conversions. Okay, the backpack will go on. So I'm going to put the backpack on now. It's normally something you leave till last, but I want to make sure all these original bits are just going to fit in place. Okay, so there is all of the original parts of this model in place. I'll sort that foot out in a minute. So this arm, which is the original arm, wants to sit just here like this, but I'll do a little bit of cleanup. And I've been having this idea about this Deathwatch army that I've started, and I do have a direction I want it to go in, but if I ever get the chance to do it, I'll keep it all on video for you guys so you can see it happening. So that is, yeah, there we go. So that's in place. Now let's have a look and see how this Deathwatch shoulder pad fits in place, because it might not fit in place because of the backpack. So looking at this, I'm going to have to carve a little bit away for this to fit in place, which hopefully won't affect the look of this. But I've just got to take a little bit off this shoulder pad so it fits in place. Okay, that's better. Yeah, so what I'm going to do, I am going to put glue all over this area, and then I'm also going to put some glue on the inside of the shoulder pad as well. And then let's position this in place, and there we go. Okay, gonna hold this for a little while to let the glue set somewhat. And while I hold that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim the detail off the bottom of this foot. So that includes the knife. I'll probably have to do that with a knife actually, rather than do it bit by bit. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of the knife. There we go. Get rid of the rest of that. So I'm trying to see what's stopping that shoulder pad being in place, but that's okay at the moment. Just need the glue to kind of go off in there. What I will do, I'm just going to nip some of that. Let's just run a little bit of glue in that seam. Okay. That's okay for now, I think. Okay, there we go. Right, so for the other arm, I'm going to nip off the tag, the little push fit section, and this arm is going to have another combat knife arm rather than the sword arm that, well, it's a longer combat knife arm, but it looks like a sword with Tyranid blood dripping off it. Okay. Okay, and at the same time, whoops, at the same time, let's nip off the bottom of that one. So I'm going to have a little look and see how this is going to fit. Yeah, so that's going to fit with the boot in there like that. So I will have to do a little bit of sculpting, I think, for that. But for now, we'll look at the base later on. Just want to make sure this all fits in place. So let's get the next shoulder pad on. So this member of the Deathwatch is from the Ultramarines chapter. And in this video I won't reveal who this character is, but if you work out who it could be after they've crossed the Rubicon and become a Primaris Marine, please drop it in the comments. I think this is going to be a two-parter, so the next part will be sorting out the base for this character, but let's put the head on, and this was most likely give away who this character is. There we have this line up. I've only got one of these heads. There we go. So there's a I think this I picked this up with a few other bits and pieces. I think it's from the Horus Heresy, this head, but it's perfect with that kind of sensor over one eye and the beard from the Ultramarines chapter. Like I said, if you know who this is, or it could be, drop it in the comments. I'm going to call this video for now. In the next part, I'm going to work on the base and run through those processes. But I hope you've liked this first part of converting this Deathwatch Lieutenant. For now, all I can say is thank you so much for tuning in. My name's John, and you've been watching War Games, Models, and Other Hobbies.